You're listening to Comic Reflections, episode 125. I'm your host, Nicholas Prom.
And I'm Spencer Valdez.
Remember Spencer? He's back!
I am back.
For good.
Yeah. 125. That's impressive.
Yes. Well, we're putting out a lot more content these days,
right,
which is good. I'm expanding, and I said I'm bringing back the classic. So, Comic Reflections is brought to you by Rhymes with Geek. You can find this show, plus many other cool podcasts like the all-new Anti-Fanboy, Super Podcasto, Magnifico, and Feed It Comics at rhymeswithgeek.com. And if you enjoyed this show, please subscribe to us on either iTunes or Stitcher. So, as part of the content expansion that I'm talking about, I planned it early in the year. I was like, all right, well, in a year, we're going to be done doing single issues like on the main show.
Yeah.
And we're going to get into the Showcase, Presents, and Marvel Essential volumes.
Right.
Well, I decided, why don't I just expand the number of people I'm podcasting with and start on those now?
Absolutely.
While Jeff and I still do the single issues for the year, and then we'll switch over too.
Right.
And then we'll have this format really nailed to the wall. Really good. And there's enough of those volumes I could do the show for years and years.
Totally. So
that's why I wanted to do it with several different people so I can get through stuff.
Yeah.
Jordan picked Aquaman. That's his favorite comic book hero, and I thought, he can't pick up on your smirking right now.
Right. Yeah.
But I am already pretty bored with that volume that we're working on. We're starting with the Green Lantern, Silver Age Green Lantern, which is your Green Lantern anyway is your favorite comic character. So it's for a while the show's going to seem really DC heavy, and then as we alternate between volumes, it's going to seem really Marvel heavy. I was hoping we'd start with a Marvel book so it'd be balanced, but you can't have everything.
Right.
So I wasn't going to make you wait on this.
Yeah, so, of the list you gave me. It seemed really balanced
to choose from.
Yeah, and so obviously I'm going to gravitate towards
Green Lantern. Well, when it happened, it worked perfectly because you have Showcase Presents Green Lantern Volume 1, as do I. So you didn't have to wait for me to read a volume and then hand it off to you,
which is nice. Yeah.
So this is a good way to start up quick. But today for our inaugural reunion. And we'll continue. This is terrible, but we're going to read. We're going to talk about the issues of Showcase that were the debut of the Silver Age Green Lantern.
Right.
Showcase number 22, 23, and 24. And all of these stories can be found that we'll talk about today. Can be found in the Showcase Presents Green Lantern Volume 1. So
over 500 pages. For under $10.
Well, or especially if you get it on Amazon, it's even cheaper. Or I picked up your copy for like $2 at Comic-Con.
Yeah, totally.
The deals. I scored a bunch of Marvel Essential volumes. I got like 3 of the 4 volumes of Tomb of Dracula. I got Moon Knight Volume 1, which is like a $30 trade for like just a few bucks. I got a bunch of stuff like that. So
that's what's good about Comic-Con up here is that you can really pick up on some of those good volumes that you might be missing.
And that's what I mean. Like, I go to con and I'm looking for deals on trades.
And unless you have a very specific line of books that you want, single issues, they pile up and they get really expensive.
Well, it can be, or they can be really cheap, but also I'd rather have, a library of trades on my shelves. But then sometimes you got to get singles because not everything is traded. Right.
So I'm still collecting the Arak books.
Oh yeah, Arak Son of Thunder. Yeah. And boy, if DC put out a nice omnibus of that, it would be 50 issues in the annual.
Yeah.
It'd be a big book, but I'd buy it. But anyway, let's get started on Green Lantern. So yes, Showcase number 22 from September and October of 1959. All stories in this issue were written by, written by John Broome, and penciled by Gil Kane and inked by Joe Giella. Giella, actually, I think is what it is. The 2 L's throw me off, but I heard Neil Adams say Giella, and so until someone corrects me, hey, come on, Neil Adams? That's a pretty good source. So, but the lead story is called SOS Green Lantern. And, it's great.
Yeah, it's the origin story of Green Lantern.
Yeah.
Where he kind of meets...
of the Silver Age incarnation.
Yes.
The Earth 1 Green Lantern, let's be clear.
Yeah, it's if you saw the terrible movie,
it's not that bad.
You know the story. It's the Abin Sur crash lands
On Earth. Some strange yellow force in the sky forces them down. And it won't be till 40, 50 years later we find out it's parallax.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But yeah.
It seemed like he just got a headache and kind of crashed his spaceship.
Right.
And
Hal Jordan, in a test module that's not even supposed to fly.
Right.
It's almost like one of those things that's outside of stores, where kids ride in.
25 cents.
Yeah.
Yeah, he gets pulled in by the ring.
Yeah, and Abin Sur, gives him the whole lowdown on. Here's an interesting thing is, Hal Jordan sees the power battery. He's like, "Oh, it looks like a Green Lantern."
Yeah.
Instead of we know they're the Green Lantern Corps, and it's just a little backwards. And I'm wondering as we go through these, where that changes to no, they're all Green Lanterns.
Right. Yeah. I didn't see it in any of the three shows
that we read for today. No, it's something that's going to happen over time, I think.
Well, at one point he does get called away to Venus because he's out there.
Well, let's talk about that story when we talk about that story. Let's focus on SOS Green Lantern.
Right. So yeah, it's him getting his ring from Abin Sur,
who is dying, of course.
Yeah. Oh, what I noticed is that instead of doing constructs like the most current Green Lantern in comics today, it's just kind of the ring does whatever it wants it to,
right?
Rather than
it's a bit more rudimentary, and
at one time he lifts up this cliff or something,
right?
Which in later incarnations he'd have a bulldozer moving the cliff or something like that.
Yeah, and I think it gets a little more creative as we can see, as writers just decide, oh, there's a lot more we can do with this.
Yeah.
So, and I don't think it waits too long. And I think it's in one of the stories we even talked today.
Yeah.
It gets a little more complex with that. So,
yeah. I think in the next issue it does.
Yeah, so Abin Sur gives him the ring and tells him how to use it, and then he dies.
Yeah.
So
and he disposes of the body. Yeah.
So Hal comes, does the Green Lantern Oath, which I feel like the ring implants the idea in his mind.
Yeah, so he doesn't do it in the first issue.
No? Oh, that's right, in the first story.
In the first story, he doesn't do the Creed.
But it happens pretty soon, and nobody tells him how to do it.
Right, yeah. It's actually in the next story that we get the first look at the brightest day.
So why don't we talk about that?
Okay. The Secret of the Flaming Spear.
That's right. Written by John Broome, penciled by Gil Kane, and inked by Joe Giella. Mm-hmm. Gil Kane is one of the all-time greats in comics, and this is great to see some of his sort of early work, but yeah.
Yeah. So Carol is put in charge.
Carol Danvers. Not Danvers. Ferris. Carol Ferris.
Yeah.
I can't believe I just did that.
Is put in charge of Ferris Air.
Yes, because her father decides to take a 2-year vacation.
Yeah.
And he said the stipulation is she can't get into any romantic entanglements.
Right.
Which really busts Hal's chaps because
absolutely.
he is that really a thing? Busts their chaps? I think I'm mixing metaphors here.
You might be.
Yeah. But anyway, it really chaps him. Yeah. That's what I'm trying to say.
What I found interesting is her dad is like, well, I always wanted a son, but she turned out all right.
Yeah, it's a different
she's not
time.
A boy, but okay.
Yeah,
today you wouldn't really see that in comics.
No.
Or really in any kind of media right now.
But there's the Flaming Spear is, what is it? It's an experimental plane.
Yeah.
And Hal and Carol hear over radio that they're in trouble, and so he's got to slip off as Green Lantern. Well, then he sneaks up and he does the Green Lantern Oath.
Yeah, this is where we get the Green Lantern Oath.
Yeah. Now, granted, obviously the Golden Age Green Lantern did the Lantern Oath, but he made it up, and there was magic and stuff involved.
Yeah.
And this is Hal just doing it.
Yeah.
which makes me think that the Guardians through the ring implanted the oath in him.
Oh,
in his mind.
Yeah,
that's gotta be it.
Yeah, because he just says it.
Yeah, in brightest day, in blackest night, no evil shall escape my sight. I was really hoping we were going to do this in unison. That's right. Let those who worship evil's might beware my power. Green Lantern's light. You don't say it all the last part all angry like like Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah. Gets really frustrated.
Yeah. But anyway.
So yeah, the flaming spear is kind of out of control, plummeting towards Earth.
Yeah.
And Hal Jordan shows up, and he's able to kind of save the day.
Yeah, guide it to the ground.
Yeah.
And then there's some commies or spies or saboteurs or whatever that were responsible for it.
So one of my favorite things about this kind of time period is...
Oh, it's the Silver Age, baby.
That they don't understand science.
Clearly. Okay, yeah.
And so radiation can do anything.
Yeah.
It's kind of their go-to...
Yeah.
We don't know what it does.
It can disrupt stuff, like mess up a plane or give you powers.
Right.
So...
and so he's able to follow the radiation trail back to the spies or commies or whatever.
Right. Well, the ring could do that.
And that. I understand. But the fact that they were using radiation to control the plane.
So he comes in on these spies or commies or whatever, and... they draw their guns on him, and he makes them explode before they can hit him with the ring.
The bullets are popping. They say
then they take out Hal by throwing a yellow lamp at him.
Yeah.
What a revolting development. And coincidentally, they also get off in a yellow car.
Yeah.
Because due to a necessary impurity in the in the power rings. Or in the battery,
right.
The Green Lantern's ring can not affect the color yellow.
Yes.
Whenever a yellow thing comes up, we need to do that.
Okay. So my thought was...
Because they have a footnote almost every time.
Yeah.
At least in every story. So anyway.
My thought was they're ready to kill him.
Yeah.
Because they're shooting at him. But when they throw the lamp at him, they're like, nah, it's enough. We can go.
Right.
Yeah, so... If he's knocked unconscious or whatever...
Of course, it's deadly force to sissy fight.
Yeah.
In like 10 seconds flat.
And then they're gone in their yellow car. That can't be affected by the light of the Green Lantern's ring.
Yeah, but the tires are black, so he uses the power ring to pop the tires.
Yeah. And
then takes them directly to jail. So...
Oh, and then this is where we get the... she's not a boy, but she's good.
Oh, from Carol's father.
Yeah. And she immediately turns on Hal.
Well, because she's like...
They had this kind of relationship. She's like, all right, screw it. Not doing it.
Yeah, she's like, because she's got to be a serious businesswoman. So now she's giving Hal the cold shoulder.
Right.
And he's like, oh, man, my power ring can do anything for me except the one thing I want in the world I want most. Carol.
Yeah.
And he's thinking like, oh, great, 2 years while Dad's away, I can't date Carol. That's a long time.
Oh, yeah.
So, but let's get busy with the next story. Never let me say that again.
Okay. I totally agree.
Yeah. And it's called Menace of the Runaway Missile. And I said missile instead of missile. But people say it differently.
Hal is completely distracted by the thought of dating Carol.
Right.
While he's in this machine.
It looks like a G-force testing machine.
He should probably be focused, is all I'm
gonna say.
And then he comes up and kind of grabs behind her, and after she's made it very clear that there's not going to be any funny business.
Yeah. He's not very funny either.
It's a different time.
Here's the thing.
Comics, whatever. No means no, Mr. Jordan.
Yeah. So. But
hi, honey, is what he says.
Yeah, he's pretty bold, but...
And then he kind of traps her against the wall. This is no good.
Yeah, well... Yeah. But he doesn't, if she pushes him away, he doesn't...
That's true.
Keep on going. So anyway... so she's going to go to the celebrities ball with Green Lantern.
Right.
And so Hal's going to go as Lantern and try and woo her. And as he does, he makes good time with her.
They share a slightly passionate kiss.
Yeah,
not as passionate as Carol would like.
Right. Because he sees that there's this runaway missile, and he flies right off. and in the middle of a kiss, and Carol gets mad. Man. But anyway, and the missile is all yellow except for the tip, and so Hal's got to figure out how he's going to stop this thing.
Yeah. And so he sends out like a net kind of thing.
Yeah.
He's able to capture the tip of the plane.
Yeah.
Or the missile.
Yeah. So that works. So Green Lantern is talking to some army general about, like, it was a nuclear... It
wasn't a nuclear bomb. It was filled with just regular explosives.
Right. So it had a very specific target, and it was nearby. So a hydrogen plant.
Yeah.
The
secret research center.
So Green Lantern flies off. He's able to figure out the trajectory of where the missile was launched from.
Right.
And so he reaches the lab of this guy. The guy, he's like a scientist or a doctor or whoever. Yeah. And the guy says, "Green Lantern, I've been half expecting you." Okay. When you're half expecting somebody, he's like, maybe Green Lantern will stop by today. You know, like,
right.
It's pretty funny. And he has this big battering ram that was ready to get him, but
thank God Hal was standing in that spot for the battering ram to hit him. It doesn't look like it's on kind of like a pivot thing. It looks stationary.
Right.
It's just gonna hit that one spot.
And good thing it wasn't yellow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and Hal just like melts it or destroys it or whatever.
Yeah. So another kind of interesting use of the ring, rather than moving it or trying to create a construct, he turns it into water.
Yeah.
Which you don't really see.
Yeah, I mean, you can do those kinds of things. You can change the properties of other things with the ring.
Right, you just don't see it. You see more constructs being built. And
stuff changes over time. Yeah. So, this is all pre-crisis, man.
Right.
So, yeah.
So he takes the guy back to the general. They get all the things squared away. And he comes back to Carol and he's like, "Hey, babe."
And then she's brushing off Green Lantern too. And so he's like, "Great, I can't win as Hal or as Green Lantern. This sucks."
It was because his eyes were open during their passionate kiss.
Yeah, but then he saved like the plant and stuff.
Right.
She just doesn't understand.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of funny. His story ends with him getting the door slammed in his face, which is pretty great. So moving on to showcase number 23.
There was something I wanted to mention.
Okay.
Let's see. It was something the general said. Basically that he put evil ambition ahead of his loyalty to country. How, like, loyalty to country is, like, the utmost virtue.
Yes. It's like, here's the thing. It's the Cold War.
Oh, yeah. No, I totally get it.
You know?
That's not, again, it's not something new here today.
No, and it's like, yeah, of course, who cares? You know, like, duh. Yeah. But yeah, definitely a different time.
Yeah.
It's interesting. So, but yes, let's talk about showcase number 23.
All right,
the lead story is called Summons from Space. Now,
right.
John Broome wrote this, and Gil Kane penciled it. Joe Giella inked. And it's a good story.
Oh, yeah, it's excellent.
See, this is great. This is what I'm talking about. Green Lantern's is going around dating all these chicks because he can't date Carol.
Yeah.
And then she's getting jealous or in a huff about it. And he's frustrated because Carol only wants Green Lantern, and she's giving Hal the brush off, but he can't seem to make it happen.
He gets the brush off until Green Lantern starts dating all these other women, and then Carol's like, well, I'm going to make him jealous using the same man. She doesn't know it.
Yeah.
But, yeah. I've got a feeling that she is trying to use me in order to get next to the Green Lantern. I'm my own rival.
So weird.
Yeah.
But, so then he's at home, and the Lantern just starts telling him, it's like, hey, we need you to go to Venus.
Right, yeah. And so, yeah, he powers up the ring, he does the oath, and he takes off. So one thing that I really appreciate about comics today is that they don't have to take the time to explain every inconsistency. So the fact that he's like, oh, thank God I put the bubble of air around me as I traveled through space.
Well, right.
We just know that now.
But the thing is, this is very easy entry, whereas comics today are not.
That's very true. Very true.
And a little bit of this repetition, I certainly don't mind it.
Right.
And it makes it just it makes it a lot easier for somebody just jumping in to get what's up.
That's absolutely true.
Get what it's all about. So
I understand that point of view.
Yeah.
I prefer not having to deal with it.
Well,
and I've read comics for a long time now.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I don't need it.
Right.
Whereas,
but it's the problem is because new comics become an ever dwindling niche for people who have been reading comics forever, as opposed to, hey, new readers, what's that about? You know.
So if you're a new reader and a new listener, Star Wars Showcase is great.
Yeah. That is not to say that all current comics are hard to get into, but I think you have some stumbling blocks.
Yeah.
Whereas I think there are things built in, especially in the old business model of you might get only one issue of something or not be able to get every issue. Mm-hmm. And so, okay, the rules are established and reestablished each time, so we're okay. Mm-hmm. I can follow.
So something like this compared to I'm thinking of the Magneto comic, and if you don't know Magneto very well, you would be very lost in this series. But this, you can jump in any issue. Yeah. And be like, oh, okay, this guy has a ring. This is how he uses it. Oh, this is
Exactly.
Oh, he can't use it against yellow. So the notes that they have.
Yeah.
That we were previously, jabbing at, are useful.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I like that when they show up. Yeah. It's fun. It's when you have that in every issue, it makes you feel like every issue is a classic. Yeah, it's all part of a classic period. Yeah, and it is, and these are so. But anyway, Green Lantern gets to Venus, and there's big yellow pterodactyls there.
Yeah, there's humanoid people. They call them humans.
And the ring translates for him, which is awesome.
Yeah.
This is the first incarnation. This is the first time that's ever used.
Which is cool.
Yeah. Now they use it all the time.
Yeah.
So, but these pterodactyls are sweet looking.
Also, they are yellow.
Yeah, big yellow pterodactyls. So he has to fight them indirectly. And when he establishes contact with these cavemen, they explain their plight. These big pterodactyls are going to kill us and stuff.
Yeah.
So he makes a big green hawk to scare the pterodactyls away and shoo them into a cave and then close the cave with blasting rocks and stuff.
Yeah.
So
they throw a feast for him. It's a big
hullabaloo.
Yeah. So when I think of Green Lantern and the way he uses his ring, this story is excellent. Because he uses his imagination to come up with this big construct. Yeah. And uses it rather than, I'm going to punch it to death,
Right. He had to, trick these beasts into the cave and then seal it up and save these people. Yeah. And then he, it's like, hey, thanks, guys, or you're welcome, or whatever. And, because the cavemen are grateful.
Right.
And then he splits back to Earth. And Green Lantern goes on a date with Carol.
Right.
They're dancing.
Right, and so his last, getting dressed as Hal Jordan again, I think that Carol is falling in love with me as Green Lantern. But I want her to be in love with me as Hal Jordan. Golly, what a situation.
Well, yeah.
It's just so innocent and
yeah, but it's also really fun. I don't feel insulted while I'm reading this because I'm interested in the drama.
Yeah.
There's a simplicity, but there's also something very satisfying about these stories. So the next story we've got in this issue is The Invisible Destroyer.
Right.
And this is the first super foe that Green Lantern encounters. John Broome wrote this, and Gil Kane penciled it, and Joe Giella on inks. So I love the splash panel. This is an atomic explosion.
Right next to Coast City.
Yeah. Of course, a lot of the splash panels are a big tease or a big lie.
Mm-hmm.
But they draw you in. Like, what? The atom bomb?
Yeah.
So
we have this guy. He's breaking into places, not necessarily stealing stuff.
Yeah.
But you don't want people lurking around, you know. And so Carol and him are talking about it a little bit.
Carol and Hal.
Carol and Hal, yeah, sorry. And Carol notices this ad in the paper calling on Green Lantern to come to this address.
Mm-hmm.
And so he decides, all right, I guess I have to go. Makes an excuse to Carol, takes off.
Of course. So he goes out looking for who has already been named, I think, the Invisible Destroyer.
Yeah.
And it's so cool because the guy has pretty neat costume, but it looks like an empty costume moving around because the guy,
Invisible Man,
but wearing a costume that like would reveal an empty face, and it's really striking. It looks cool. Mm-hmm. And so Green Lantern goes in to fight the guy, and the guy gets away, and Hal basically loses.
Yeah. He's frustrated and confused because he's the Green Lantern. Why would anyone be able to do that to him? So he takes off and he decides, I need to find this guy, this apartment, or this address.
Right, it was in the ad.
Yeah.
And it's this older guy, he's a scientist or something.
Mm-hmm.
And we learned that the Invisible Destroyer, through hypnosis and stuff, we learned that, or Hal used the ring to hypnotize the guy. We learned that the Invisible Destroyer is a product of this guy's subconscious mind.
Right, yeah.
So like when he's dreaming or whatever, part of him, like his essence, leaves and becomes this evil self. So it's Dr. Jekyll, and that's interesting.
And it makes, I mean, they allude to Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde.
Yeah.
And so
I love Jekyll and Hyde villains.
Yeah.
Like Eclipso.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great one, too. So anyway.
Yeah, so Hal decides to do some brain surgery with his ring.
Yeah. And they do make it a point to say how, like, delicate and, like, complicated it is for him to do that.
Right. And so he finally gets to the point where he can pull out the Invisible Destroyer.
Yeah.
And, again, the guy, he escapes, right? Yeah. Yeah. He escapes again.
But the Invisible Destroyer is drawing power from different, like, radioactive things.
Yeah.
I think it's to become fully corporeal or be able to exist outside of this guy's body permanently.
Yeah.
And then
so he can continue in his evil ways.
And then I think he would have like radiation-based powers.
Yeah.
To like destroy stuff. Hence Invisible Destroyer. Hence the atomic symbol on his chest, which I didn't mention before, but pretty cool costume actually. You know.
So this knocks out Dr. Phillips, the scientist.
That's his name, yeah.
And Hal takes off after the Invisible Destroyer, finds him at a kind of a launch site. And is there as the Invisible Destroyer is setting off an atomic bomb.
Right.
Off the coast of Coast City.
Yeah, that's... Some of this material's a bit dated.
Right.
You would not be doing... Nobody is setting up atomic tests not near a major city.
Yeah.
But hey, it's comics, so it's fun.
And we have the Green Lantern to go out, which he does, and he...
Is he able to, like, eliminate the fallout and stuff?
Yeah, he encompasses it in light, and it shrinks it down.
Oh, good.
It says the size of a firecracker pop.
Oh, that's right.
And so the Invisible Destroyer was able to get some of the effects of that radiation, but he's not nearly as powerful as he wanted to become.
Mm-hmm.
And then again, because we don't understand science back then, they have this anti-energy exchange, and it just nullifies everything.
Okay, so I think we're led to believe that the Invisible Destroyer is eliminated completely, and that Dr. Phillips, or what was his name?
Yeah, Dr. Phillips.
Is cured. Yeah. But we don't know. Maybe the Invisible Destroyer will come back. I don't know if he's a recurring foe or not, or a one-off.
Yeah.
I actually should have looked that up.
Yeah, maybe.
Shame on me. Yeah, it's kind of a big deal.
Again, the end of the comic reads,
how can I get a date with my boss, Carol Ferris?
Right. It always comes back to that romantic relationship, and it's
I love how if only I could solve my problem as easily as I solve another person's problems.
Yeah, because that was really easy for him. The brain surgery.
Yeah, no sweat. Oh man, so let's move on to Showcase number 24. Now it's the third and final issue of Green Lantern's run in Showcase, and then he was very successful, and he got his own book.
Oh right, yeah.
Yeah, and Showcase was the DC's great tryout book because you'd get to appear in several issues of Showcase, and then if that feature was popular. You'd get your own book.
Yeah.
Sometimes it was just like 1 or 2 appearances, but.
And I think at the end of this showcase, it says, "Hey kids, write in.
Yeah.
If you liked Green Lantern.
Yeah.
Show us you love."
Yeah. So let's talk about this. It's the lead story is The Secret of the Black Museum. John Broome wrote this, and Gil Kane penciled it, and Joe Giella inked this as well. Okay.
Ah, I see. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I just really like Gil Kane's art a lot. It's so crisp and
Is that
special. I there was other adjectives I wanted to use and they just didn't happen.
Okay.
So
we have here Carol and Hal, and it's really like she is like done with this on again, off again, this hot and cold.
Is she?
Katy Perry song dating thing with Hal Jordan, or not? Excuse me, Green Lantern.
Right.
And she expects him to be popping the question
already.
Yeah. After
Hey, it's 3 issues. Why not?
And as he's kind of leading her on with these with his talk, he's not anywhere near proposing to her.
Right.
But he hears a cry for help, and he has to take off in classic Green Lantern Carol Ferris.
Yeah, and of course she gets pissed about it, but
he saved someone's life, but still, it's all about Carol.
Yeah.
So they head back to Carol heads back to Ferris Air, and Hal's there, and she tells Hal he needs to get the secret files. Or secret plans back to the army.
What secret plans exactly? Or is it non-specific?
It's we find out it's for the space plane, the X-500.
Oh, okay.
Right. And so you can't find him.
Right.
And so he decides he has to retrace the steps, and he realizes, he got pickpocketed. Where have I seen that guy before? And so he uses his power ring to focus his mind and really kind of pick out where he saw the guy before, and he realizes it's at the amusement park.
Oh man!
Takes off the amusement park.
Which is apparently one of the most sinister places in the world, because there's so many comic book things happen in amusement parks.
Absolutely.
So go ahead.
So editor's note: ring must be charged every 24 hours to keep its power.
Yes.
So he takes off to the amusement park, and he sees a ride going off the rails, and he must save it. However, the car is yellow.
And, if you'll recall, due to a necessary impurity in the strange materials from which it was made, Green Lantern's ring has no effect on anything yellow.
That's absolutely true.
Yes.
So he has to save it, and he realizes, the bottom of it isn't yellow. He creates a couple springs, and it bounces to safety.
Yay.
But lo and behold, guess who's there? Carol Ferris.
Of course.
And so she again sits him down, tries to get him to pop the question, and all he can think about is getting to this. He called him? The dark-faced man.
Yeah, let's be clear. We're talking about a Italian, European fella.
And so he heads off into the Black Museum.
Mm-hmm.
And he...
It's not about black people.
No. He does something cool. He does the microphones. He sends all the microphones out into the building.
Oh, to listen.
To listen and figure out where they are.
Oh, that's really clever.
Yeah.
See, that's a really cool use of the ring.
Absolutely.
Because not only can he build stuff with it, but like fully functional things. It's not just like I can move something or melt something.
Right.
It's I can build microphones.
Yeah.
I can have complex machinery. So
even
without like, I mean, come on, because Hal can't possibly know like everything about how a microphone is made.
Right.
He imagines it, and it comes into fruition, fully formed, fully functional. I like that. Yeah. So anyway,
so he finds the guys, and he rushes in, and he gets hit from behind, and he's knocked out.
Probably with a blackjack.
Yes. I don't actually see a weapon, but probably.
Yeah.
And so they decide. Well, the bad guys have decided to launch some fireworks and their missile with the plans in them.
No, it's a big rocket, and they tie up Green Lantern and they have him sitting under the rocket, so he'll get burned to a crisp under the thing. Mm-hmm. But he's chained to it. He's manacled to a chair or whatever. Mm-hmm. But he uses the ring to melt his bindings.
He's totally fine
and get away. And then he stops the missile, puts them in a cage, and everything's hunky dory.
It's kind of impressive.
And then he gets to go on TV.
Yeah.
The news are like, "Good job, Green Lantern, busting up those spies."
But then Carol is again there because she likes to follow Green Lantern around.
Yeah.
And she is angry at him for not proposing to her.
Oh, yeah. And he's like, "What?" And
so as she's walking away, propose to a girl. Now what in the world put that idea into Carol's head?
Yeah.
You know.
So.
Silly girl.
Oh, stuff.
Yeah.
So, I think this is going to be the last story that we talk about for today, actually.
Yeah.
And boy, but it's a good one. It's called The Creature That Couldn't Die.
Yeah.
John Broome wrote it. Mm-hmm. It was penciled by Gil Kane and inked by Joe Giella. Mm. Yes.
So I think the big portion of this is Carol's dream.
Of this story?
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about it.
Okay.
Carol does... Well, let's start at the beginning of the story, because that kind of... Hal's, flying a test plane.
Yeah.
And,
she tells him to come down. She needs a ride to...
a thing.
A thing. But on the way, she reveals to him, "Hey, I wanted you to be in this ride because I have something to tell you."
She had this weird dream.
Yeah.
She dreamed that she was marrying Hal, but hoping that it would make Green Lantern jealous and show up and interrupt the wedding.
Yeah.
But then Green Lantern doesn't show.
And she is distraught.
And then, as they're, like, leaving, in the car, the just married, all that jazz, mm-hmm. somebody falls out a window or something down the street, and Hal leaps into action as Green Lantern and saves the guy.
Well, so he doesn't have time to change.
Right. And then it's revealed that he's Green Lantern.
Right.
In the dream, at least. And she's like, "Isn't that wild that you were Green Lantern?"
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
You silly girl.
And then they're talking about it, and then the car runs off the road. Now does have to use the ring to create a parachute and bring him to safety.
Right. Luckily,
that she fainted.
Being the frail woman that she is, she fainted before the car made it off of the cliff.
Right.
And so she didn't see him jump into action.
Right.
And so he lands, and he's like, "What? Where'd the road go?" And so he's looking around, and he sees this giant footprint, and takes off, and he sees some military science guys, and they're like, "Hey, we messed up." Again, magic science, the cosmic rays.
The magic of science. Yeah.
They were testing with cosmic rays, and they put goop into a test tube, and it became sentient.
Oh boy.
And
the sentient goop becomes a monster, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, and it is cool. People talk about how how neat Jack Kirby monsters are.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Gil Kane monsters are really great too.
Excellent. Yeah.
This is an excellent monster. And it classically is walking through the bay and tearing up a bridge. But Green Lantern flies into action and
gets nailed by
I-beams from the
I-beams.
Yellow I-beams too. That's the worst kind.
Because there's an impurity within the battery that prevents them affecting yellow things.
A necessary impurity also.
Unnecessary impurity.
Yeah. Thank you for that clarification.
You're welcome. Just in case you didn't know.
So the monster is rampaging like all crap. Military in classic form is shooting tank shells and jet bombers, doing all that. Yeah. It's a cool monster. It looks like a fish, like a kind of a fish face and like tentacle arms, but it's bipedal. It's neat. Yeah. So anyway, Green Lantern creates this big tube
to block out the extra cosmic rays that are constantly bombarding Earth.
Right. And it's a giant bell jar, and by placing it around the monster, it begins to shrink, and then it becomes a puddle, like a blob.
Yeah, it's actually kind of sad. It says, "I'm grateful, Green Lantern, for what you're doing. Now at last, thanks to you, I am no longer a menace to myself or world."
Wow, it's quite a remorseful monster.
Yeah, I don't think he wanted to be knocking down buildings and stuff. He was just, you know.
So then, as the formula goes, Green Lantern gets some media attention and then flies off.
Right. And he comes back to the car with Carol dragging a doctor behind him.
Yeah. Good cover.
Yeah. Which then later she realizes, he couldn't be Green Lantern.
Right.
He was getting a doctor. Green Lantern was fighting this monster.
There we go.
Yeah.
That's an alibi.
Yeah. The end.
Yeah, the end.
Yeah.
And that's the end of our talk for today.
Yeah.
But you and I will be back next week with more Silver Age Green Lantern talk.
With more Green Lantern,
yeah. So
with Green Lantern comic, the official.
Oh yes, the number one. I think we'll read 1 through 5.
Yeah.
For next week, and yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening.